I didn't even look up when the Slack notification chimed. My hands were still flying across the keyboard. The design files open in 3 windows, and the latest user journey flow sprawled across my second screen. I'd barely slept. 72 hours of sprint work had built toward this moment. This was it. The pitch was polished, the back end was synced, and the entire dev team knew this prototype like the back of their hands. It was my baby. I'd built it from the ground up. Ideas scribbled on napkins, long coffee-fueled debates with the product team, customer interviews, design sprints. It was the project I'd bled for, and we were a week away from presenting it to the board. I had even rehearsed the speech. Then came the knock on the glass wall. HR, that's soft. Polite knock that means anything but good news. Marla stood there, clipboard in hand, lips tight, eyes too sympathetic. "Do you have a moment?" I forced a smile. "Sure." We walked past the open floor where the interns were still arguing over font weights, past the break room where the espresso machine hissed in protest, past my manager's door, which was very much closed. Conference room 6. Cold lighting, 1 chair facing 3. Classic. Marla sat. So did Brent, my manager, and Julia, the VP of product. "This won't take long," Marla began, folding her hands. I knew that tone. Knew it too well. Brent cleared his throat. "We want to thank you for the work you've done. You've brought this project to an exciting place. You've done a lot of heavy lifting." My heart stopped. And there it was. We've decided to reassign the project leadership to someone with more specialized experience in enterprise integrations and high-stakes product rollouts. Julia said. I blinked. "What?" Brent jumped in quickly. "It's nothing against your work. You've done well. But this next phase needs someone with a bit more seniority." It hit me like a punch to the ribs. "You're removing me?" "Not removing," Marla corrected. "You'll still be involved, but as a contributor, under new leadership. The board approved the hire this morning." My voice was cold. "Who?" Julia gave a careful smile. "You'll meet her this afternoon. Her name's Madison Lang." And just like that, it was done. I walked back to my desk numb. My prototype stared at me, flickering, still waiting for the next build. My team pinged me for updates. I typed, "Give me a minute." Then I just sat there. Madison Lang. The name bounced around my head. It sounded vaguely familiar, but I couldn't place it. Was she from Meta? Amazon? The kind of person you see speaking at panels about agile, leadership, and disruptive innovation. At 3 p.m. sharp, Madison arrived. I saw the HR escort walking her around the office, pointing out the teams, introducing her to the heads. And then I saw her face. My stomach dropped. Madison Lang. We'd gone to the same grad program. Correction, we'd started at the same time. She dropped out halfway through year 1. No LinkedIn updates. No professional portfolio. Her name had vanished off the alumni radar years ago. But there she was now, tall, poised, walking like she owned the floor. She looked right at me, smiled. "I remember you," she said. I forced a nod. "You were in UI/UX cohort B." "Yeah," she finished. Small world, small, and apparently ridiculous. She settled into the seat that used to be mine. My manager handed her the briefing packet. My project, my timelines, my architecture, my work, and she started making changes immediately. "We'll pivot the user flow," she said in our first team sync. "Less emphasis on customization, more on speed. Our user persona is wrong. We're optimizing for someone who doesn't care about detail." The team nodded slowly. Some were skeptical. Most just looked tired. I spoke up. "But our core differentiator is customization. We validated that in 3 test groups." She smiled, teeth white and unshaken. "And we'll revalidate, but fast, leaner. We don't have time to polish. We launch or we die." Brent didn't say a word. And like that, the shift began. Files renamed. Figma boards restructured. Weekly sprints now daily check-ins. My meticulous roadmap thrown out like a napkin sketch. Every day I sat through meetings listening to her pitch ideas that were half-baked, shallow and buzzword-riddled. And yet, every time, Julia and Brent nodded, smiled, approved. I tried raising concerns. Once, Julia pulled me aside. "We appreciate your passion, but you need to be a team player. Madison was brought in for a reason." What reason? How did someone with no record, no verifiable experience, leapfrog into my role overnight? I started digging. First, her LinkedIn. Sparse. Barely any detail. Her last listed role was a strategic consultant for a stealth startup. No links, no portfolio. Second, her digital footprint. Practically non-existent. No Medium articles, no podcast appearances, no GitHub. Just a few generic posts about rethinking innovation. Then I found something. A photo. Buried on a 2018 conference recap blog. There she was, Madison, standing beside Julia at a Women in Tech panel. The caption, "Old friends reunite after years apart." Old friends. I didn't stop there. Internal company Slack logs revealed that Julia had vouched for Madison before the board even saw my latest milestone report. She'd already made up her mind. Madison was always the plan. I was just the warm-up act. The next few weeks were a blur. My project, my vision, became unrecognizable. Deadlines moved. Features dropped. Bugs ignored in favor of flashy demos. Then came the board demo. It bombed. The product crashed twice mid-pitch. The CEO asked why the core features were missing. The head of sales asked what happened to the customization engine. Madison stammered. Spun buzzwords. Blamed legacy architecture decisions and scaling bottlenecks. Translation, she blamed me. And then the real kicker. Julia stood up and said, "We believe this version isn't quite ready for launch. We'll return to iteration with tighter alignment between leadership and engineering." Not a single mention of me. Not a word about the original product that had worked. They killed it. Or so they thought. Because what no one knew, what I had kept quietly building in the background, was my own version. My team. The engineers who still believed in the vision. The testers who slipped me feedback. Even the intern who asked quietly, "Are we really throwing all that work away?" I spun up a repo. Off-grid, clean, fast, without the bloated nonsense. The features we validated. The flows that worked. The feedback we trusted. And we built it. 3 weeks. Nights. Weekends. Coffee and code. Then I emailed the CEO. No fanfare. No pitch deck. Just a link. Subject, the version that works. He responded 4 hours later. "Can you come to my office now?" When I walked in, he was already running the demo, eyes glued to the screen. "This is clean," he said. "Why isn't this what we saw?" I told him everything, not with bitterness, not with ego, just the truth. The timeline, the pivot, the sabotage. He listened, then leaned back. "I want you to pitch this to the board." And so I did. 2 days later, room full of suits and skeptics. I walked in, not as the guy they sidelined, but as the architect of the product they never expected to see. I told them the story, not a revenge tale, a resurrection tale. When I was done, they didn't clap. They didn't need to. The CEO stood up and said, "We're going with this." Julia, silent. Madison, nowhere to be seen. I didn't ask what happened to her. Didn't need to. All I know is that a week later, I got a new desk. Same floor, different corner, bigger window. A title change came shortly after. Director of Product Strategy. Not because I played politics. Not because I schmoozed or flattered or bowed. But because I built, I endured. I didn't quit. And when they gave my project to someone more qualified, they forgot one thing. You can replace a title, but you can't replace vision. And I had it all along. Would you like this formatted for PDF export or narration-ready audio pacing next?